What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, hey. So, a while ago, I've stated this before. Sometimes you have to bring something back, you have to rewind it. I'm going to say this, especially now with Turki Al-Sheikh being involved in boxing, okay? I said this, and I'm going to say it again. Now, as far as him buying Ring Magazine and him being the owner of Ring Magazine or whatever and all that, okay, fine, whatever. I really don't give a shit about that, honestly. I really don't. But at the same time, especially because boxing is still a popular demand thing. So even with what Turki is doing, there's still some fine tuning that he can do too with how fights being put together, and even the availability of a fighter, to get the right fights to happen. This is what I'm going to say, okay? Now, for you to have fighters ranked, and it's not based on the fights that they've had and what they've done. Now, I think it sucks for a fighter to fight his or her ass off. They fight title eliminators and all of that, and just to end up still not getting the title shot, just to end up being told you're pricing yourself out, you're asking for too much money and things of that nature. So I also think it sucks for a fighter to have not done shit in a long ass time, but they're ranked up in the top 5 and over fighters that's been active. One fighter beats another guy, and in one sanctioning body he's ranked higher, but in another sanctioning body the guy that he beat is ranked higher than him. That makes sense. This is what I'm going to reiterate once again, okay? Look, for Turki Al-Sheikh, because it's obvious nobody else cares about doing this, if they have these mandatory round robins, if they have these fights where a mandatory, okay, only means something if you make it mandatory. So this is where fines and things that have to be involved if they back out, because these guys are just not down for it, man. Back like when they had the Super Six back in the day with Andre Ward, the Darrell brothers, Jermaine Taylor and everybody else that was involved in that. Let me explain something to you, though. You see, if they had a particular tournament every year, okay, if they had a particular, title eliminators type of tournaments, it will make sense. They can give you two different, because think about this. Most fighters don't even fight more than twice a year, man. Most fighters. Most of them. So if they have these tournaments, here's the deal. You want the perks, you want the money, you want to win more if you get a knockout, you want to be in these fights. These fights keep you active, they keep you busy, the money's coming in, and you can be the champion of a particular tournament. Now, if you can't defend your title the following year or something like that, then you could be stripped. Okay, so what? You can always re-enter. Now, here's the thing about it, right? If they did this with, multiple weight classes, right? Or however you want to do it, like let's say they did it with every weight class, and then it came down to the top 2 in each weight class. And if they did this 2 type of tournaments, because you can have, but one you can be the champion of, you need to give another incentive. Because here's the thing. Boxing has no structure, and everybody's aware of that. So what happens when you have these fighters that fight a title eliminator just to end up not getting a shot, just to end up being overlooked and overshadowed because, he's boring. Nobody knows him. Wait a minute. So you put this person in the fight as a sacrificial lamb, the cherry pick backfired, and now you're going to punish the person for winning? Because that's pretty much what's happening. Let's just be real. We could take Deontay Wilder, Joseph Parker, for example. We could take Deontay Wilder versus Zhang, for example. Okay? Both of these guys beat Wilder, and Parker beat both of them. Yet, they keep trying to keep Joseph Parker out of the picture. And I even heard Derek Chisora say, nobody gives a fuck about that guy. He's fucking boring. Okay? So, you'd rather someone who lose a fight get elevated over the guy that he beat. Deontay Wilder gets beat by Parker, gets dog walked, then gets knocked out by Zhang in 4 rounds. And yet, they're offering Wilder title fights. What the fuck is that? So, if Turki Al-Sheikh wants to make a difference, man, let me explain something to this. Let me say this, man. You see, this will benefit people like Shakur Stevenson, like a Keyshawn Davis, like a Richard Hitchison, like in a new way, or Bam Bam Rodriguez. Like, it will, and why it benefits them is because they will be the ones spearheading this type of tournament, and the money will be there, and guess what? The prestige will be there. So while their stock is growing because they're entering these tournaments, right? The other guys that are sitting back playing cherry pick and wanting to sit there up on this perch and act like they can't be knocked off because they're the money guy. Well, guess what happens, right? Take, for example, Tank's talking about retiring. Now, let's say, for example, Keyshawn Davis is in this tournament and he wins the tournament. Not only is he the champion of that tournament, and every year you're defending that title. Now, you can relinquish the title, but bottom line, every year, this is mandatory. I'm going to set up my boxing scene different from, what everybody else is doing, where it stands out in a more dignified way, more honorable, right? Now, if Turki Al-Sheikh was to do this, right? Think about this, y'all. And let's just say you got a Tank Davis over there going, I don't need him, he need me. Then it's like, no, Keyshawn actually don't need you. He's just as big a star as you are. And he's the champion of this tournament, right? Here's the deal. If Turki has this type of thing going on, and let's just say, for example, Tank doesn't want to commit to that. Doesn't matter. Now, if Tank doesn't have any other names to fight, what is it left for him to do? So if Keyshawn Davis is now a household name, and he's over here and he's putting on and he's winning fights, and guess what? These titles mean something. That would be far more respectable than a bullshit invisible franchise championship. That would be far more respectable than someone having even like the lineal champion and all this stuff. I mean, the lineal champion is no physical title either, but you understand what I mean? It's like it does have some respect on it, but it's like boxing needs to feel like boxing again, man. Because right now it's a circus show. And so instead of you having YouTubers calling people out, MMA guys calling people names out just for clout and all this nonsense, let's give boxing something that it doesn't have. And then, not to mention, when you put it on a big platform, it feels big, it feels special, people want to be a part of it. And the fact that nobody's even trying to attempt to do anything like this over here in the States, this is something that Turki Al-Sheikh can do. So guess what? If these people's names are in Ring Magazine, and the difference is you're going to do something with this differently than what's been done, other than just having a ranking system, that really means much of nothing, because, like I said, the people that are winning the fights are not the ones getting the title shots. So, for that to matter, let's be real. Let's be real. No Lomachenko versus Tank. No Shakur Stevenson versus Tank. No Shakur versus Haney. No Tank versus Haney. You understand what I'm saying? None of these. Now you got a guy like Keyshawn that's in there. Frank Martin got in there with him. And Frank Martin is a good fighter, man. He just, Tank is Tank, man. And Tank just showed, like, hey, people don't get it, but I'm that guy. But bottom line is, these guys want the smoke, man. And this will help to build these guys, and they'd get some recognition, and they'd accomplish something. So instead of having invisible belts or these trophy belts, why don't we have something that's systematic, that's legit, that has structure to it? Because see, when these guys are sitting up here bitching about, this guy fighting this guy, no, these tournaments is not to put guys in here because they're lesser known. No, this is to put hungry fighters in there that can't get the fights that they want. The money's there, This is a tournament. And anybody who saw the Super 6, I mean, to each his own, but I've never heard anybody shoot down the Super 6. Everybody pretty much I talked to always said, yeah, I love the Super 6. You know, and this is something that, you know, it shouldn't happen just once in a lifetime. This should be something that, no, this is you see it like, for example, if you want to take a page from wrestling, fuck all of the bullshit, fake character nonsense, calling people rapists and murderers and all this stupid nonsense. You see how every year, like AEW has All In, then they have All Out, have Winter's coming, all that stuff. Like, you know, WWE with WrestleMania, Survivor Series. You should have something where through your calendar year, it's something other than just another fight card. You know, and this is why I'm saying you can put so much prestige in these tournaments. You can make people take notice and go, I'm interested in this. And now they're going to want to see who moves on. And then, of course, man, you know, people got to be ready to go. They got to be ready to go. I mean, because if they did this, man, I mean, hell, let me tell y'all something, man. The way boxing is right now, all I see is people just trying to find the next star. And they don't know how to build stars anymore. And whoever the next star is, it turns into a thing of, okay, well, you know, for popular demand's sake, let's put this guy versus that guy. Then you can't make that fight happen. So basically what you have is the star running around just fighting random guys who you don't really care to see. Now, just think, Lamont Roach has a belt, but he's not well known, and people are going, oh man, this is a bullshit fight. Now imagine Lamont Roach being part of, you know, like a tournament like I'm saying, and he's winning fights and people can see what he can do. Well, they'll be judging him by what they see versus I don't know this guy. Now notice how nobody knew this guy that Terrence Crawford was fighting, but because they was trying to build Terrence Crawford versus Canelo, they wanted to tell you that this guy was better than Canelo, and he was also the best fighter in the division. And like I said, after Terrence Crawford beat this guy, nobody's going to talk about him. Who's talking about this guy? Right? So other than you talking about him losing to Crawford, who's talking about him versus this guy and that guy? Nobody's doing that. Is anybody going him for, you know, let's see this guy versus Canelo? No, nobody's saying that. So when you look at it and you think about where boxing is and where it could be, man, just imagine, you know, even like the card that Keyshawn Davis was just on, you know, recently. You know, imagine just like that card alone just shows you people, there's an interest, man. And there's an interest in Keyshawn Davis. And if Turki Al-Sheikh was to put these type of things on, and I mean, come on, you got UK fighters, you got fighters from everywhere, man. This is about boxing. You guys claim you want the smoke, you want to, okay, let's make it happen then. And see, you know, you can't look at these fights again and think you're going to get another Ali Frazier, Leonard Hearns. Like, these guys don't care about legacy. These people don't care about any of that. They just care about the money. And for the guys, like I said, the business model of boxing has changed as well. So the fighters' mindsets change. These guys just want to fight and win and get paid. And they're all about flash and flare. So when you really look at what this tournament can do, and the fact, like, that's why I said they have two type of tournaments. Title eliminator tournaments, and you have to fight your mandatory. You have to fight. So in other words, if Keyshawn Davis and Frank Martin was in this tournament, and let's say it came down to them two winning, well, they have to fight each other. And this all can be set where one tournament fight can carry on to the next, where they have, you know, this is what I'm saying. And it can be an advancement of course, well, that's what it would be. But you advance because you won. But what I'm saying is you should have a tournament like where you have a champion of that tournament. And your title eliminated tournaments, man, I mean, come on, man. We got female boxers and everything. You got all these different weight classes. Make it mean something. And this will also help to get these little guys more known, because nobody talks about bantamweights, flyweight, strawweight. Nobody cares. They don't even talk about these little guys. So boxing needs to be handled where everybody is being pushed. Everybody has an opportunity. Everybody. You know, it's just like when you have wrestling and you have these little midget wrestlers who come on, right? And I mean, you know, just saying. Everybody knows who Hornswoggle is. Nobody, it's not about a midget division. It's just about, hey, He's been seen in the ring with The Undertaker before. He's been seen in the ring with Kane or this guy, that guy. So they know who he is. He's been in matches with some of the big names. This is what you have to learn and understand about the sport of boxing. And people talk the entertainment. Listen, man, you can do what you want to do, man. I mean, hell, have a halftime show type of thing, intermission break. Have somebody, hey, look, man, have some entertainment on the intermission. Do something where you have, prizes for, like, let somebody in the audience get picked to, compete in some type of game or something where they can win, a cash prize or, something, just give them something to want to come back, man. Make it fun for everybody, man. I mean, there's things that people need to understand, man. People seem to think in this era, entertainment is just fighters jumping on social media, swearing and cursing and talking tough to each other, but then don't fight. That's not. It's not entertaining to me. It's just nonsense. And it's childish. And it's turning people away from the sport. So for Turki Al-Sheikh, man, you have ownership of the Ring magazine or whatever the hell. If that actually went through, I know he was trying to get it, but whatever. Make all of this mean something, man. Do something. Do things that's not being done. Like I said, bring tournaments back. And it's mandatory. And once you enter it, you have to, unless you have a actual note from a doctor, with proof that you have some type of injury, or whatever, man. Like, come on, man. And listen, at the end of the day, if you can't defend and you get stripped, it's as simple as that. And see, this type of stuff will also show you who's who, because anybody can make videos talking about, I want that smoke. Yo, send the contract or send tweets out and all this goofy nonsense. But when you have guys going, hey, man, listen, the tournament is here. The money is here. Guess what? All you have to do is enter. What excuse is the fighter going to have for not entering? What excuse is the fighter going to have for pulling out? And this will also change the dynamic of the way people see boxing. Because they're going to look and go, damn, they got boxing. Oh, the tournaments are going. Okay, cool. It's something to look forward to. See, because if you look at the way boxing has been going, boxing has gotten dry. Every time boxing does something good, it's just like, let's take one step forward and 5 steps backwards. And we're back to the same old thing. You're not on my level. You ain't fighting nobody, blah, 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 this, that, whatever. I only took this fight because of it. Okay, well then who is it that's on your level? Who can you fight that's respectable? And they always want to name somebody that's not as good as the person that's calling them out. Now, example. Let's say Tank Davis goes in there and let's say he not only beats Lamont Roach, but let's say he stomps a mud hole in him. Tank Davis is in a position right now where Lomachenko, he dipped out and probably is not going to come back because he's only getting older as well. Same thing. It just makes no sense to me to avoid fighting Tank just to come back and fight a low level guy. For what? It just makes no sense. But let's say that happens, right? That he beats Lamont Roach. Okay. Well, for people that have gotten over the whole Shakur's boring thing or whatever, that's the next name that they're going to be calling out that he should fight after Lamont Roach. If Tank and Shakur doesn't fight, who do you want to see him fight? And for everybody that says, well, I don't think that Keyshawn Davis is ready, who gives a fuck if you think he's ready or not? He wants the fucking fight. He's as ready as he's going to be. Why? Because as long as Tank does not have to fight him, he's not going to. If he became like a mandatory for a belt that Tank holds or something like that, and they say, hey man, if you don't fight him, we're going to strip you. Once again, if Tank was to say, fuck it, I'll relinquish my belt, what is he going to tell his fans? What excuse would he have? Fans will follow a fucking fighter off the cliff of a fucking mountain and go in flames with them because they don't know any better. They're gullible. They're foolish. But if you sit back and you think about everything I'm saying and you look at what boxing has been, It's just more of the same nonsense over and over and over and over and over. Two guys fight. Let me jump on Twitter. You a bitch. I done knocked you out. Oh, this and that. You soft ass motherfucker. Blah, 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 blah. Yo, send the contract. And you know damn well nothing's going to happen. Isn't it? I don't know if you guys ever think about it, but I thought about Demetrius Andre a couple of weeks ago. And I was sitting there watching some fights, man. And I was just sitting here like, damn. It's crazy how Demetrius Andre was here one day. He was one of the best fighters out there. He was avoided by people for a long time. He himself didn't always make the wisest decisions, and stuff that he could have made happen differently. But by the time he finally got that fight, that this is going to put him on that level where, you know, hey, man, we want to see you versus Canelo, but you got to get past Benavidez. And he failed miserably. And it's like, by the time you start to get some recognition, like really get the, well, now you got there with a guy that was just too big, too strong, and just, you know, basically better. And looking at Demetrius Andre, I can see in that fight where his age had caught up with him, because I've never in my life seen Demetrius Andre bringing punches from behind his back like he was doing. He looked slower. His footwork wasn't there. You know, he couldn't avoid the shots. He didn't look as slick and slippery as he normally did. You know, but that's what I'm saying about boxing, man. By the time he got there, it was like, okay, well, you're past your prime now. You know, back in the day, there was a heavyweight named Amir Mansour. Now, the last fight Dominic Breazeale had before he fought Anthony Joshua was with Amir Mansour. Now, Amir Mansour is a American heavyweight. I think he might be 6 feet. Or almost 6 feet, muscular guy, 225, something like that. And Amir Mansour was a guy that just, he couldn't get the breaks, couldn't get the right fights, you know. But if he beats Breazeale, more than likely, like I said, it's him and Anthony Joshua. But Breazeale won, and it was Breazeale versus Anthony Joshua. And Amir Mansour, I think, got his jaw broke. No, I think he got hit so hard that he almost bit his tongue off. Yeah, I think, and he was, you know, he bit his tongue, like damaged his tongue. He had to stitch his tongue up, man. He really fucked his tongue up. And, you know, it's just one of those things. And Amir Mansour never got that break with that big fight. And by the time he got that Breazeale fight, like I said, you know, it was like, yeah, he wasn't the same fighter at that point. Now, this happens to a lot of fighters, man, that by the time they start to get some notice, they're 30, they're 31 already. Like, where was all this when you were 22, 23? And you've been fighting since you were, you know, professionally since you were 18, 19 years old. So, you know, the wear and tear through all those years, you know, this is what happens when you get in front of a camera and you, but then all of a sudden, no fight. 5 years go by and then boom, now you're finally getting a certain fight, but you're 35 now. Where was all of this when you were 30? Like, and this is what I'm saying. So for Turki, you got to have these showcase fights, man. And it's not about only the younger talent. No, anybody can enter. But what I'm saying is it's about the hungry fighters. So the guys that really want to fight, there'll be no excuses. And this is all about advancement. This is all about advancing. So, you know, for people to go, yeah, but it's going to be a record. So what? This is what you get paid to do. And what this also will do, right, this will prevent people from getting to a point, unless they just get knocked out by everybody, from being looked at like, oh, he washed up, or like, oh, he's trash, he's overrated because he lost a fight. Okay. And it's not like you can only fight in the tournament. If you go and fight in the tournament, now the tournament is over. Now you can only fight in the tournament during the tournament, but after the tournament's over, if you're eliminated, whatever. You know, but this is something, an incentive that people will use to stay busy and to keep fighting. And it's something to look forward to. And just imagine this. Let's say, for example, right, this title, you can only lose it or defend it during the tournament. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you can't win this a particular tournament. It's like, you win this tournament, you can't go out and then fight this person and lose it there. No. This title is not up for grabs other than being a part of the tournament. You see what I'm saying? So fights can be set up to where, no, now you got names entering this tournament because they need this fight. and the money's there. Do you understand what I'm saying? The interest is there. As opposed to you just, let's just put a fight card together, and then because think, the fight cards are random. You don't know who's going to be on the next card, right? Okay, but then at the same time, you don't see the same. You don't see the same fighters because of different reasons or excuses, and bad politics and all that shit in boxing. This will be a fresh start and a way for people to showcase their talents. For people that normally wouldn't get seen, now they're in a tournament, and this will be the one difference about the tournament. There won't be empty seats up until the last, no, this tournament is being showcased. You got to promote it right, you got to build it, you got to hype it up, and people will be more locked into, like, let me see what this is about. Because if the thing is, you notice how when the Misfits put a card on, they don't have that, the building's empty until the last 2 or 3 fights. Nope, that building is packed from the first to the very last fight for a bunch of YouTubers. You have to know how to put shit together, man. And this is why I'm saying, like, these tournaments mean something. So instead of going, and this is why I say, even when people are called the lineal champion or the Ring Magazine champion, okay, well, have an actual Ring Magazine champion. Have an actual Ring Magazine champion. In fact, even if you had 3 tournaments, a Ring Magazine tournament, if you had, whatever you want to name the tournament, but, basically, you can have someone, and let's just say, for example, if this tournament is, just saying roughly, just say from September until December. Right? Let's just say, like, I'm just saying it that way. Now, let's say the Ring Magazine tournament starts in the summertime. Or let's say it starts, like, in the spring. Right? So, let's just say from, like, April, May, June. Let's say those 3 months. Right? This is my point. This will keep you busy. Wouldn't it be cool if somebody was whatever you name this tournament and Ring Magazine tournament title holders at the same time? I mean, Turki Al-Sheikh already said he's going to have his own undisputed champion. So this is what I'm saying. Don't stop the ball from rolling just with that. You, like I said, have to give these fighters an incentive to want to go out here and fight. Give them an opportunity to shine. And these belts will mean something. As opposed to just having invisible belts, just a title. I'm the lineal champion. I'm the Ring Magazine. Just who gives a fuck, man? Who cares? Who really cares? What can we do to make lineal mean something? What can we do to make this, Ring Magazine mean something? What can we do to change something, to bring something different to the game? And this is what I'm proposing, because I'm telling you right now, Turki by himself, it's a process. And there's always other fights that's going to go on. And you still see this thing where fighters are getting in the ring and they put a card on. Like, you saw that last Alicia Baumgartner card. That building, they were in like a little freaking garage, man. And I'm like, damn, this had COVID vibes again. You have to understand that people, like, they keep talking about entertainment. No, listen, make entertainment a part of the show. But stop thinking that, like, a bunch of cursing, swearing, and people missing weight and doing steroids and all this bullshit is entertainment. That's bullshit. Let's get something going with boxing. Let's make things happen to where the boxing fans are tuning in to watch boxing, where the casuals won't tune in. And maybe if you do these things the right way, the casuals might go, damn, I like this. Because when people keep thinking someone's good for the sport, it's always some brash, big mouth, disrespectful jackass. It's never about their talent. It's just the bullshit and thinking they're bringing eyes to the sport. People get bored very quick. They're not loyal, and they're all about criticism. So when they do watch something, they're looking to complain. They're going to complain regardless. But give the boxing fans something to look forward to. So when you got these fighters that got bigger names, but they're cherry picking and refuse to fight the best fighters, guess what? They're going to want in at some point, or they're going to be exposed. And what's going to happen? Nobody's going to even care about them anymore because why, man? You over here dodging and ducking. You don't want to fight the best dudes. Well, guess what? When somebody say, why you never enter these tournaments? This isn't no amateur shit. You bring up Andre Ward's name. What's one of the highlights of his career? Winning the Super 6. Case in point. Case in point. So to have something like one time, no, make this an annual thing. And this is what I'm saying, man. So when fighters enter, let them in. Let them in. And this will show eager, hungry talent, man. And guess what? You also have a situation where if one guy, let's say, for example, right? Well, Frank Martin already fought Tank. But let's just say, for example, like Keyshawn Davis never fought Tank, but he wants to fight him. So let's just say, for example, right? Tank Davis, he fought Frank Martin, and the fight went the way it went. Now, what if Keyshawn Davis fought Frank Martin and beat the shit out of him? That would make people go, oh, shit. Okay, this dude Keyshawn is for real. He beat him way worse than Tank did, right? Now, does that mean he beats Tank? Not necessarily. But it's damn sure convincing, right? Like, damn, that this is going to at least be a great fight or a better fight than people think it would be now. Because most people still would put Tank over Keyshawn Davis. But you see what I'm saying? Now, let's say, for example, for people going, Frank Martin was overrated. Okay, he was holding his own against Tank. But now, guess what? They say Keyshawn Davis is overrated, and now he goes there and destroys Frank Martin. Well, now what happens? Well, what happens if Keyshawn Davis fights Tank Davis and beats Tank? Now you just shut people's mouths because they were thinking that Keyshawn was overrated. Well, damn, he just beat Tank. This is what I'm saying, man. Things are gonna happen, fights will happen, and the tournaments will have more prestige, and they will be something to look forward to every year. So now, instead of this fight's off, that fight's off, and injuries can cause certain fighters to drop out and be replaced. Fine. There's too many fighters out here that's not getting a shot. There'll always be somebody willing to fill in. And guess what? Your next star may come from someone pulling out because of an injury or whatever. But at the same time, this gives these guys something to look forward to. And if they really, truly are about that life, they want that, then there's no reason for them to say no. And this is what you have to do, man, is do things differently, do things that's not been done before, do things and keep it consistent. Make it entertaining, make it interesting, and make the fans want more. Otherwise, it's the same bullshit over and over. People talking, fans taking sides. He ducked him. Nah, he ducked. All this goofy shit. And this is one of the things, and I know, listen, this is why I said boxing doesn't interest me in a lot of ways, man. I've been watching a lot of one championship, like Stat Fairtex, man. She's like, yeah, it's several people, but she's like one of the people I love watching, man, because she's always so cool and confident. She goes in there and she's about business, man, and she's in here making history, man. Like, I really got into one championship. I watch that more. Like, I prefer that over the UFC. I really do. I've been watching a lot of PFL. I've been watching the UFC as well, don't get me wrong, but I just find one championship's just more entertainment, man. It's just more entertaining to me. At least right now it is, than the UFC. But I've always liked one championship fighting. I've been watching Invicta. Kayla Harrison is one of the fighters that I like to watch in MMA, and I've been watching her, and Invicta, I watched her in PFL. So I knew who Kayla Harrison was far before she went to the UFC. But all these different things, man, it's like, you watch combat sports and you get into it. And me being a part of it, it's like my interest is my interest. Most people they're fight fans, but they're not fighters and never fought, so they don't understand this shit. This is why I look at people and I go, you're in a position where you should be fighting, but you're sitting back, holding out, trying to get certain money. Hey, listen, man, and not only are you going to be the championship, the winner, but you're going to get the biggest pay out of everybody else as well. And people are going to get paid well. They're going to be fighting more active. And the thing about it, unless you take a bad beating, you have no reason to not be ready, So, yeah, things are going to happen, man. But, it's like you got to understand how things work, have your backup plan. Let's keep it going. Let's go. I mean, we've had so many fights where one guy was supposed to dominate. Look at Pitbull's last fight. Everybody thought Pitbull was going to destroy this kid. Nah, didn't happen that way. outclassed him, schooled him, and just cruised and won, man. Like and made it look easy. You know, so this is what I'm saying, man. Like, you got to give these people something. You got to give the fans. You got to listen, man. You have to look and say what's not being done. And Turkey's already done that, but don't let it stop there. And hopefully, man, that for the sake of boxing and for the fight fans that want to see good fights, want to see, you know, that's the entertainment to me, the fight itself. I don't give a fuck about Eminem coming out rapping and all that shit or whatever, but I'm saying if you want to have people come out and perform, you want to, you know, have people come out and do things, interact with the fans, doing intermission and stuff like that, you know, like I said, make it fun for people, man. Do things, make it a family-friendly type show where things are happening, and have these guys come out here. But of course the action in the ring is going to be some menacing shit, but you know, like, make people feel like, hey, this is, you know, something cool to come and get involved in. You know, like I said, man, what y'all fucking consider entertainment is a bunch of big mouth, arrogant motherfuckers running their mouth talking shit. That's what y'all consider entertainment. Nah, it's garbage. So, you know, that's all I really wanted to say on that. And, you know, hopefully Turki Al-Sheikh can do things that other people are not doing. And one of the things I can say about boxing, as far as what Turki's doing, is not a monkey see, monkey do thing. People just doing whatever the fuck, the same nonsense, laying back. Nobody wants to put money up. Fighters want too much money, or whatever the fuck they want. You know, they're not a big draw. Just all these different things. Everything to keep a fight from happening is what we see happening. So, talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.